Welcome again to In This Family, where I have in-depth conversations with fascinating people about mental health, family, the past, and the future. I'm Dr. Michelle K. Murray, President and CEO of Nexus Family Healing, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and your host. In This Family is presented by Nexus Family Healing. We are a national nonprofit mental health organization who helps youth and families heal from trauma and complex mental health challenges. We believe every child is worth it and every family matters. You know, there are many ways to support a family member who is struggling with mental health issues. And you don't need to be a psychiatrist or a therapist or even know all the right language to provide that support. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is just try and keep trying. Make an effort, explore options, offer love, and along the way provide some good lessons in what's important in the world. Maria Bamford has been a stand-up comedian since the 80s and is one of the top comics in America today. She's released several specials and albums and starred in her own series on Netflix called Lady Dynamite. Maria is the author of the New York Times best-selling memoir, Sure, I'll Join Your Cult. In 2017, she was the graduation speaker at the University of Minnesota's College of Liberal Arts, and I was so impressed to hear and learn that she donated her speaking fee of $5,000 to a graduating student in the audience who had taken out student loans. Maria lives in Los Angeles right now, and her home was actually impacted by the recent wildfires. Her family includes her husband, Scott, and their pugs. Maria is originally from Duluth, Minnesota. Her parents, Marilyn and Joel, who have passed away in recent years, have been frequent subjects of Maria's comedy over the course of her career. Maria does the voices of both her mom.
Yeah, my mom could squeeze joy out of an AT&T customer service call. You know, Reggie, I just gotta ask you, we have been on the phone for over 3 hours. Is your phone hot?
And her dad.
Maria, listen to this. This is by former Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. She says, don't be humble. You're not that great. Hey, Dad, I'd have you open for me, but I've already hired an anvil and covered it with a wet blanket. You're bumming me out!
Maria Bamford has also dealt with mental health issues, including bipolar disorder type 2 and obsessive-compulsive disorder. She experienced a mental breakdown and was hospitalized several years ago, but has found some stability and positive health. And just to let the listener know, this interview does contain mention of suicide. Well, hello, Maria. It's so great to have you on the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on.
Maria, I wonder if you could start by describing your experience with mental health challenges.
For me, I think I started feeling like around 9 or 10 years old. I remember just perseverating, being very anxious, having intrusive thoughts, or now that I'm older, I can look back and say what they were. Just sort of dysmorphia about my body, you know, things that probably are already out in our culture, but then, you know, sort of I grew very obsessed with as a kid and depressive. You know, kind of that suicidal ideation. I remember saying, oh, I want to die. I think I acted on it once as a kid, just sort of theatrically. I took a bunch of Tums and then told everybody about it. And then I think I laid in the front hallway with ketchup on my wrists and said, is this something? So then I was sent to therapy.
So then your parents, when you did that, then they recognized this, and is that what led them to take you to therapy?
Yeah, and it was the 70s, so it wasn't, you know, specific, perfect. And I always want to tell that to people, like, it doesn't matter if it's kind of shitty or it's not really what you need. If there's something, at least something positive about it. I know I wasn't able to sleep at night because I was so worried I was going to kill my own family. So they sent me to a lady who was she was a therapist, and basically I would just fall asleep on her couch because I didn't sleep at night, and I wasn't able to tell her what was going on with me. I was too scared to say what the thoughts were, and she was sort of a religious person. Okay. So that was the added confusion. She gave me a book called Hind's Feet in High Places, which is an allegorical, very disturbing book if you have any intrusive thoughts. It is, wow. It's going to bring you a lot more material to work with. And but it was helpful in that it like showed like my parents loved me, at that point there wasn't medication as an option. I think something when I was in my teen years, my dad invited me to Adult Children of Alcoholics to go to a meeting of that. I didn't really know what that was because I was like, oh, neither my parents aren't alcoholics. But that did set up a sense of comfort to go ask for help within the community, whatever that help that is available, which isn't, again, necessarily perfect and actually can be harmful. But even in the trying to get help for oneself, advocating for oneself, there's something about that that's healing. To go, okay, I'm gonna give it another shot. I mean, at least that's the story I tell myself.
And those intrusive thoughts, had you shared those with anybody, your parents or?
I did. I shared it with my mom. I said, I'm worried I'm going to kill everybody and rape everyone. That was another exciting idea. And I'm not sure. The hilarious thing about intrusive thoughts is that you don't always go through like, how would that go down, Maria? Like, and it's just all in the terror, the initial terror. Oh, I can't even. I told my mom. My mom just said, honey, it's okay if you're gay. Again, very odd take on it, but all right. And so my dad then sent me, I think when I was really depressed in high school, I think 15, I was just sleeping in classes. I was just, I started doing sort of bulimic behaviors, not eating during the day and then like binging at night sort of thing. And I think around 10 or 11. And so that was getting worse and worse. And my dad said, you want to do a Dale Carnegie speaking course on how to win friends and influence people? And I did that. And that was really helpful. It was just weirdly helpful. It's in terms of just something simple. It's with a community. Everyone's trying something new for the first time. It's very simple philosophies of how to interact with other human beings because I was so afraid of talking to people. So it's like, I don't know if you know anything about the Dale Carnegie philosophy, Michelle, but you get to know people's names, Michelle. And you say people's names, Michelle. And Michelle, I love that name, Michelle. You compliment what I love your lip color, Michelle. I mean, it's just really. I don't have on lipstick myself, and it makes me think, gosh, I need a pop of color. Just how to socialize.
And it sounds like that was a helpful intervention that your dad did.
So helpful.
I mean, can you talk about how else it sort of shifted your life for you?
Again, it was kind of like a video game, so I could kind of compulsively do it all day at school. Like go, okay, I know that kid's name. I'm going to say them a compliment, and then I'm going to say a follow-up question about their lives that I can think of. Are you excited for the hockey game? And then, oh, that's great. Well, you put a positive spin on it. God, you guys are going to kill the, the anteaters of hockey next week. Like, because it was high school, nobody noticed it, that it was really weird. Like, nobody noticed it. And I was also talking with a lot of junior high kids, and so I was making a lot of friends. I actually weirdly became the Winter Frolic Queen, or
Well, have you been formally diagnosed with depression or anything else that you were mentioning?
that wasn't really a thing. That wasn't a thing, I think, in this, you weren't given a diagnosis. You were just said, oh, hi, sad sack. And because my eating disorder I wasn't vomiting. It was more like, oh, I'm going to go exercise for 3 hours by myself, or guess what? I'm going to walk the 2 miles to school in the snow. Don't worry about me. Up in Duluth, like, it's bitter cold, but I'm going to walk, 2 miles. Like, yeah, I mean, not that, it's just sort of crazy things, but it doesn't look that crazy in terms of American values. And also I was never overly thin, or, put on a massive amount of weight. I was just obsessed and, constantly thinking about food and weight. And
So it seems like you had some insight as a child that, okay, the thoughts I'm having don't seem right. I'm having these experiences. How else did your parents kind of respond to the things that you were going through?
oh, well, they were willing when the therapist said, oh, we need to have the whole family come on in to see what the dynamics of the family are, they're willing to come in. I think we did that maybe twice, and everybody was really bummed out by that. And
Bummed out by doing it only twice?
no, doing,
Yeah, having to go in at all. So that was
that was a bummer.
okay.
But, I'm saying all of this in retrospect, like, I was terrified as a kid. Like, just, I didn't know what was going on. And I don't think my family knew, didn't know how to comfort me. I mean, my mom was just like, oh, I don't know what this is. It's hard to comfort someone if you don't know what their experience is. You have to have had or heard of it. I know for myself, like, I have friends who have schizophrenia, and it's like not until I've heard more and more about other people's experiences and read about it and so forth, I go, oh, I kind of get it. I kind of, okay. Yeah, and I kind of see why the voices are comforting or whatever, like all that stuff. But I didn't have that ease of thinking about it as a kid at all.
So it sounds like your parents were pretty attuned to the things were going on for you, and they were trying to offer support and help.
Yes.
Is there anything when you look back on it that they did that was the most helpful?
The values of our family were, as long as you look good, as long as you're keeping it high and tight and you're achieving stuff. Like, if you are achieving, you're fine. So I just question those values. Like, just like I won't talk about my sister has 4 kids, but you see the difference between how someone else is raising their children, and you just go, oh, like, we were very much like a task-oriented family. Like, we are going to celebrate you, or it's pretty obvious that you've got to shine, otherwise, what are you here for? Like, at least that was my feeling I got from my mom. Especially, she loved, either appearances, how do you look, or achievement. And I don't think that in a bad way. I think it's sort of, or I don't think she was a bad person. Just sort of like, I think that's an idea of survival, of like, oh, my kids are going to do okay as long as they look good and they or are able to pitch into society in a way that's memorable. I really wonder about that as values. Like, I just think I think I don't have kids. I know it's important to comb your hair and stuff like that, but also what seems to matter in life is loving relationships and maintaining loving relationships with people who just love you. I think that just sets up I think people want their kid. I assume my parents wanted me to thrive in capitalist society. And that meant, my mom would say, marry a doctor, or you better do something spectacular. Or, be very good looking. And those are great survival things, but I just don't, I think it's a terrible idea in the long run. That's a life is made up of love and connecting with other people, and not so much accomplishments and stuff you're able to do.
Did you feel like you were meeting their expectations?
Oh God, no. No.
And then what? Like, if you could sense that and feel it, how did that play out in your family?
I think just despair, just like that. Oh man, I tried. And also, this is my depressive mindset as well. So who knows how much of that was coming from inside the house or was them. But I know they were proud of me and would say that. They would say, we love you, we're proud of you, especially as they grew older. My mom, I think once we left the house, she went and got her master's in social work and became a therapist herself. So I think she became much more aware of, it was really lovely. She made a huge change in herself, that she would apologize for things. She would say, I'm sorry, without a but attached to it, that's a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to apologize without explaining exactly your state of mind when you hurt someone so much. But they were great parents. They were great. We did so many wonderful things. They got me involved. They really got me involved. I played the violin for 20 years, which, I look back and I go, that sucked. I wish they'd asked me whether I enjoyed it. And I think they did. I think I knew there was something that important about playing, because I thought, they put in so much money for me to be good, and also this is the one thing I'm good at. So I got to keep going. What is that called? Sunk costs fallacy, where no, you just cut bait.
And how old were you when your mom went to be a therapist?
I think 19 or 20. I was starting college. Okay. So
because it seems like when your mom kind of shifted in her own relationship with you, that you could feel that difference.
Yeah, for sure. Just that she could apologize. That was amazing. Yeah. Like, that was just like, oh, okay, awesome. And I think that's also when I went through treatment for an eating disorder. I went outpatient at the University of Minnesota, and that really helped to get, I was kind of on my own. My parents were still supporting me financially. Again, so privileged, like so grossly, over supported it than most people. So I think I stopped receiving financial support from my parents when I was 24. And not that that's bad, but I think I'm grateful when they cut me off, because it did, at least I was able to find that I could, the reason I didn't do a job was because I was too afraid. I was afraid that I wouldn't know how to do a job, which of course I didn't realize that jobs you don't know how to do them until you do them. That was something I somehow didn't catch.
And when you were going to therapy, what were the things that you learned?
I don't know. I mean, it was great just to be in a big group of people. It was also drug and alcohol, but 5 days a week type of thing. And just to see other people struggling with eating disorders and go, okay, that's crazy. And maybe what I'm doing is odd as well. And maybe I can kind of relax, that I don't want my whole life to be this thought process. I got on meds for the first time. I was put on Prozac, and I don't know whether that made a huge difference or not, but I've been on it for, probably 30 years. 30 years I've been on it. And then last 12 years I've been on Depakote, which is a mood stabilizer, and then Seroquel, which is an antipsychotic. And those meds added to the Prozac made a huge difference for me. I mean, I definitely do have the bummer side effects of being a sleepy baby and a tremor, but it has been well worth it.
So what were the symptoms that your medication helps you with your mental health challenges?
Just with the ongoing, because I think I would cry every day. I had suicidal ideation almost all the time. I would get these definitely hypomanic episodes where I would get I couldn't sleep at night. I was having all sorts of great ideas, but at the same time feeling really depressed, wanting, going, I'm on the edge of, I don't want to live because this feels so bad, this state of mind. Yeah, so once I got on the medication, my mom was on Depakote, that it wasn't right away. It was, I think I was out of work for about a year and a half, but it slowly, I did start to feel more confident of maybe work wouldn't be the same, maybe, my energy levels wouldn't be the same, but I felt, less of the ups and downs, which I do miss. I do miss the ups and the feeling of I can run 6 miles and and having a bunch of ideas come to you all at once, no matter how ridiculous they are. It's fun. It's fun on some level.
But it sounds like it's achieved some stability for you.
For sure.
In your emotions and in the day-to-day. You mentioned your mom being on Depakote too. So can you explain mental health challenges that perhaps your parents had?
Yeah, I think my dad would say that he had depression. I know he was on Prozac. He didn't really like being on the meds. He would go off of them. And my mom has always been on a mood stabilizer since the age of, I think, 28, 29. She had a seizure, and that was used as the reason why she was on Depakote. But I know when she went off of it, 50 years later, 40 years later, she had a manic episode and full-blown psychosis, and that she was saying that the funny thing about mania is that there's always some part of truth in it where it's I see what you're getting at, maybe I'm trying to think of my mom, my sister was evil and I was the good one, and then my dad was a horrible Grinch, and it was all this real time massive puppet show of these, who was good and who was evil. But so she went into a psych facility and she got back on her on the depth coat. So,
And do you see any similarities between what you saw with your parents and your own situation at all?
well, just that I like the building of community. Like my parents, they were very involved in their church. They were very involved in their neighborhood. Wherever they live, they'd always develop relationships in their neighborhood, and I feel like that's really important to me. I live in we're in the fires, and so we've moved like 6 times, and we're now in an apartment. And I've baked cookies for at least 6 of my neighbors so far, and it's hilarious. It's kind of the way my dad would make cookies, where I make these giant cookies, and they're kind of like the size of a small asteroid, and then I wrap it in tin foil, and then I leave that secured in a plastic baggie with a note and a napkin. And then, people can either be horrified and throw it away immediately, or anyways, it can cause revulsion or joy, and
And hopefully joy more than revulsion for many.
yeah.
So you have a sister. How have you been alike, and how are the two of you different?
I think we're both super sensitive, and she's just a wonderful person. You could interview her because she's just so interesting. She's been through so many different parts of been a mom, and then she's a physician, and then she's been a shaman and a life coach, and now she's painting, and she's just a good person. She's really, and the great thing is that now my parents have passed away. There's no one to hustle for, like there's no one to showcase for, so we showcase for each other, like go, could you tell me that you're proud of me and that this is cool? And so that's been fun. I think she's definitely more, I always think she's more extroverted than I am, but yeah, she's great. She's great. And I think we've even gotten closer. I call her every day since my parents passed. So,
Well, in your comedy, you do this wonderful thing of imitating your family members' voices. How was your family members with that?
my mom was great with it. My dad he wanted me to do one. And then when I did it, he felt sad. But then he said it was okay that I could do it. And then my sister really had a hard time with it. So I don't do one anymore. And I get it, because I've had people do impersonations of me, and it's like, oh, like it's, of course, it's just like, oh, is that what I seem like? And it's like, yep, that's what you seem like, Maria. Like, it's quite humbling. So I don't need to keep doing that anymore.
Well, it's nice that you're honoring their wishes, and that they're having that dialogue with you about what they're comfortable with. I want to talk a little bit about what led up to your breakdown. I think it was in 2011.
Mm-hmm. It was actually, I was working a lot, and just everything was going great. And it's just kind of like I wasn't, instead of feeling better, like instead of feeling like, oh, this is great and things are going good, I kept feeling worse. Brain couldn't shut off, having a hard time sleeping, just getting more and more tired, but more and more wired at the same time. And so my psychiatrist said, hey, I think you need to be on mood stabilizers. And I was like, okay. And so I said, oh, well, I'll fix that over a weekend. And I checked myself in someplace at this Las Encinas in LA, and for 72 hours just to get on this mood stabilizer, just so I wouldn't be by myself. And then that kind of started this, year and a half long spiral downward, in that I thought, oh, I'll get on the smooth stabilizer and I'll be back to work, and it turns out it had side effects that I couldn't work with. Like it was Lamictal. Lamictal sometimes you can have, it makes it difficult to speak or talk, like you lose cognitive abilities. And so, yeah, the first show I tried to get back to it in Chicago, I couldn't do it. I got there and I was like, can't speak. Speak can, no speak. And then I went inpatient again to try something else. And then I went through an outpatient program again just to have some support. And then went in again because it just was feeling really bad. And then I think I finally got on Depakote and Seroquel, which was the better mix. And yeah, since then, and went through the outpatient program, another 8-week program again. And then, yeah, started to feel more stable, or at least becoming more used to how I felt now.
So it sounds like finding that right mix of medications was really important for your journey.
And that's the thing I think is irritating in the marketing part of our culture, is like, whether it's like we advertise to each other insurance, or what an experience, you're gonna go to Hawaii, this is what it's gonna be like. It's like, yeah, it may not be like that for everybody. Everyone's gonna have, some people are not gonna like Hawaii. With meds, I think through advertising, that fantasy of like, and then it's fixed, and then you're back out with a bunch of balloons, walking with your kids and your dogs, and it's like, yeah, that's just not a realistic expectation, and yeah, sets up people to feel bad about themselves.
Yeah, it's sort of like the battle is actually with our expectations around the things that we're doing, whether it's, hey, this is a pill that can help you. It's not a magic pill.
Yeah, like, again, through friendship, I have friends who have more severe situations with their mental health, and to blame them or say, oh, well, guess you've got to hustle harder. Especially when mental health, one of the aspects of having mental health problems is to think you don't have them. And so you're unhoused, and you can't get housing unless you say you have a mental health condition.
Well, it sounds like you're also just well aware of some of the challenges that your friends are having too around mental health, and or just how people think about it and talk about it. And
yeah, like do we have to call it that? Like, why do things have to be pathologized? Or, because I've read in other cultures of how mental health conditions are treated, and sometimes it's seen as a gift. The person has a special, I don't know, maybe that's offensive as well, but the person is just accepted as a part of the family, the condition is a part of the family, the whole family goes in for appointments. Like, it's not, get away, isolate them, isolate the family, get them away from everybody.
well, it seems like you're also, in some respects, honoring a bit that people have a lot of things going on. They have quirks, they have different struggles that they have to deal with. And maybe no matter what we call it, people just need to be able to struggle with those things that they're up against.
And yeah, for myself, like, not make assumptions. This is a 12-step saying. Are you ready for it? Love is letting others voluntarily evolve. Like, yeah, I don't know what's right for a person. I don't know at all.
And what have you experienced in your life that's been right for you?
Meds, friendship, doggies, I'm a nerd about personal growth stuff, which is, it's basically like Dungeons and Dragons. It's like having a weird hobby. I mean, I'm not accomplishing anything, nothing's happening in my personality. I'm just setting up different guys, and then we move them in different, and then I go away for the weekend and I mindfully meditate, which is also just like Magic the Gathering.
Well, it's a fun metaphor that you're using for that. So your mom, I believe, passed away in 2021, so not too long ago, and then your dad in 2023. What do you think are the wonderful things that you've taken away from your family, your parents?
Always good to learn things, love to read. My whole family would love to read, connecting with people, I love people who are willing to step up and help out, with stuff. I like to volunteer, and people I love who are my friends are all people who like step up. If there's someone who needs help, like you, and ask for help, you do it. Like I like feeling needed, and I think for my mom also. But you got to take care of yourself. I mean, if you're exhausted, oh my God, take a break. Just tell them you're tired, and you just can't.
And then what about the things that you got from your family or your parents that you've had to struggle against and that have contributed to challenges for you?
I think probably the financial, class thing, where my mom really had a real belief that if you are safely, my dad was a physician, in this financial bracket, you're okay. No one can, there's some emotional safety in that. And I think that's a real setup. I just think that's a terrible, I get it, and financial, having enough, obviously, food and shelter is, that's everything and in order to have some safety in life, but way above that, I think you get in the weeds of just maintaining little piles of stuff and not doing things that are that will genuinely make you happy, that are a constant, that are very stable, like creativity, ongoing chit chat relationships with people at your coffee shop, or with your work, those are the things that are important, and not so much the Yadro figurines that you're collecting.
Well, thank you so much, Maria, for being on the show and sharing your life stories with us and your experience and your wisdom. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much for having me on. It was lots of fun, and hello to Minnesota.
You can catch Maria's comedy online. In fact, YouTube has tons of her clips. Or visit mariabamford.com for information on where to find her specials. So if you have listened to other episodes, you might be picking up on a theme that perhaps older generations weren't as aware of mental health issues like we are now today. Our parents and grandparents did not always have the language for mental health challenges like we do now, and that might have come through in Maria's interview. Even though we are still in need of much more education, awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance around mental health, things, I believe, have improved, and I hope that they will continue to improve for future generations. And what I noticed when I was interviewing Maria is that while her family didn't know what to call the various challenges that Maria went through, they did seem to recognize that what she was going through needed their support, and I was pretty impressed with that. Maria seems to have brought a lot of that help into her life, and that is a true gift. We have so much more knowledge now about trauma, abuse, mental health symptoms, different therapy approaches that can be used, and medication management. And some of the things that Maria described experiencing particularly her early fears around hurting her family, might scare parents and they wouldn't really know what to do. And certainly, while her parents couldn't name it or what was going on, it was great that they delved in, tried to get her help, and took those things seriously. And it continues to be my hope that parents and adults listen to maybe things that seem odd or concerns that are expressed by children and keep looking for the right help and don't give up. The other thing that I was impressed by in Maria's interview was how she brought up the pressure from her parents to meet high expectations, which is a common experience of people from her generation and from her parents' generation. This is a hard balance for parents to strike. How much to push their children versus how much do they let up? It's good to instill values for sure. Self-improvement is always a great thing for kids to learn, and it's really important that parents challenge their children. But here are some guidelines maybe to consider when you're trying to strike that balance between how much to push your kids and how much to not overdo it. Watch out for filling up every hour of your child's day. Certainly children need things to do. They need to keep themselves busy, but they also need downtime. They need time to play, and they need time to be naturally creative without it being forced. Another thing to consider is try to allow your child to have input into the activities that they do and limit how much you as a parent are forcing what you want for them on them. And that really takes just a conversation, watching your child, observing how they are around the activities that they're doing, and then listen to their personality and be aware of their natural strengths and try to meet them where they're at. Our children's growth is about teaching them to learn about who they are, not necessarily about teaching them who we want them to be. In This Family is produced by John Moe, and the music is provided by Jeremy Messersmith. You can learn more about Nexus by visiting nexusfamilyhealing.org. Thanks again for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, I hope you recommend In This Family to family and friends, post about us on social, and leave a rating or review. I'm Dr. Michelle K. Murray. See you next time.